Hi there, everyone. This is Real Talk with Purple Snake. So, for today's podcast, it's just gonna be short, but today I wanted to talk about and give my opinions on newly, the newly arrived Dead Rising 4 trailer. Okay, so it was E3, so it maybe isn't that completely new, but I just found out about this trailer, like that this game even exists. I found out about this like 20 minutes prior to pressing that sweet start streaming button, and well, I watched this trailer like 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes ago, and I have my fair share of reactions, and I just want to watch this together with you guys so you can get a heads up on what the kind of stuff I'm going to talk about and my quote-unquote issues and basically my opinion. So 1 minute and 40 seconds. Let's start. No interruptions. So there we have it, guys. That was the trailer for Dead Rising 4. So let's dig right into it. So first off, we have the beginning here. He walks up here. It looks like, first glance you may wonder who it is, but if you played the Dead Rising games, which I have, and especially if you're a fan of the series, you are gonna notice the camera here, and that's gonna be a giveaway, a dead giveaway that, oh, this is probably Frank West. But then this shot gets shown, and it's like, wait, no, that, who's that? And then, wait, and then you see this, and it's like, wait, okay, so this is Frank West. Okay, so yes, guys, this is Frank West. They really changed his appearance, and that's basically what I'm gonna be talking about now. So allow me to switch off the monitor capture real quick there. This should be all working here, hopefully. So let's bring up a picture from Dead Rising 4, shall we? Boom! There we have Frank West holding a zombie in that typical him pose with his zombies. This is funny, it's hilarious, but what face is that? I mean, I get the whole like HD graphics thing, and of course HD graphics are going to change the facial features of a character in one way or another, but this feels a little bit drastic. I mean, did they recreate the facial features from the ground up? Because it kind of feels like they should have went with a, like, taken a already existing model and then worked upon that. Maybe, I'm not completely sure on that, but anyways, and so let's take a picture here. Let's show you a picture here of what Frank West should look like, what he does look like, what he looked like back in the day. That is I couldn't help myself. I had to make that joke. So let's take a serious picture. So here we have some sweet pictures. I think these are taken from the newly announced Dead Rising remaster. I think it's a remaster as far as I understand it. Basically, I'm gonna talk about this later, towards the end of this short stream. Okay, so basically, what's up here is can you see a difference here? Can you see the difference? He really looks like an entirely different person. Kind of reminiscent of Michael from Grand Theft Auto 5 a little bit. I can see a few features from Michael in here, and not so much here. He looks quite different. I can't really like put my finger on it exactly what features that makes Frank. I mean, they both share the same kind of hair, so I give them that. But it's like everything else. I mean, of course, this dude, this version of Frank has his 5 o'clock beard, and this Frank from the very first game or remaster or whatever doesn't have that. But that's that. It's not that. It's like the eyes, the eyebrows, the forehead, the cheeks, the chin, like everything just kind of seems pretty off. And this is pretty weird because every single other version, design, incarnation, everything of Frank West previously, the games he's appeared in has looked fine. Or better than that. Like, it's like the older version of him from Dead Rising 2 Case West, as well as the spin-off alternate reality thing game Dead Rising 2 Off the Record. Older Frank West, he looks like this Frank West, but he does look older. Then you have this Frank West, which just looks kind of he doesn't look like Frank to me. I mean, it's like the same hair, but it's not the same face, and I have a very hard time putting my finger on more specifically what it is that's off with this new design. But it just doesn't. When I see this dude, I see some random person like trying to be Frank West. I don't see Frank West. When I see this picture, oh, that's Frank West, one of my all-time favorite fictional characters. He actually is. And then you have this picture. Fucking Gary Smart. Gary Smart is the best. So, okay, design of the main character aside, the rest does look pretty good. I have watched a little bit of a gameplay, and it looks very menacing to say the least. It's like Dead Rising ever since the very first game has been more or less over the top, but it's still been pretty realistic with a few exceptions. Like in the first game, probably the most unrealistic thing from that game was the real Mega Buster, which is the arm cannon that Mega Man uses in his games, and it shoots like these laser blasts, kind of like these energy laser blasts, kind of, and they added that to that game. They also had this fake Mega Buster, which basically shot like tennis balls, which is really funny, very ineffective, but it's funny nonetheless, and that's kind of grounded in reality. Then they add the Mega Buster, but that's fine. That's like a special feature. I guess you could say it's not canon. Then as the games go on, they add more and more ridiculous features, more ridiculous boss fights and characters and over-the-top things that happen. And the latest installment, Dead Rising 3, is probably the most ridiculous one to date. And then Dead Rising 4 comes along, and they add like fucking this sci-fi robot cyber freaking overpowered suit that Frank can wear, and I was like face palming there for like at least 10 seconds while saying that, which should show how I feel about this. I mean, I have my. I think it's gonna be good, probably. It's a fucking Dead Rising game. I mean, I so want to say what could go wrong, but then again, I'm not so sure. Maybe they could fuck it up. I'm not so sure. Um, like as basically my biggest concern with this super over the top things I've seen from gameplays and from this trailer and whatnot is how is it gonna play along in the more realistic setting of the franchise? Because believe it or not, but there actually is a more realistic side to the series. It's not just one man army going against like thousands of zombies with his bare fists. You could do that, but it's still somewhat grounded in reality. And then this game comes in and like it's not just over the top. It's like comic over the top. I mean, it has had its fair share of comic over the top moments in the previous games as well, as I've previously mentioned, but this seems just a little bit too much, maybe even for Dead Rising. I am not quite sure how it's gonna work well within the story and universe it has already established. And something that I'm also very interested in, because I love the whole like timelines and what's canon and non-canon and multiverse and whatnot, so I am very interested to see where this game is taking place. Obviously, this Frank West is a little bit older, maybe in his 40s, 50s, maybe, not sure. But it asks the question, is this game a prequel to Dead Rising 2? Because in Dead Rising 2 Case West, which takes place right after the ending of Dead Rising 2, you see Frank West. He comes in and saves Chuck Green's life from a zombie, blah blah blah, yada yada. They help each other to stop some criminal organization, like blah, whatever. It's all good and dandy, but that Frank West there in that game is like 52 or 54, if I can remember correctly. I'm not quite sure, don't quote me on it. And so I'm very curious to see where in the timeline this game takes place. That's the kind of stuff I'm really interested in, and like where it kind of fits in with the whole story, and if there's gonna be any reoccurring characters from previous games. Like, I would love to see me some Chuck Green and maybe even some Nick from the third game. I can't for the love of game remember Nick's last name, but whatever, it's something. So my expectations for this new game is, it's a Dead Rising game, so it's probably gonna pull some crazy ass shit, still having it somehow grounded in reality, which the previous games did well. They basically combined over the top. You can go in with a fucking water pistol and shoot zombies with it in their face, or spit in their fucking face, and still have it in a somewhat realistic setting. With these dumb and slow walking zombies that you can basically run past if you want to, or engage in, and they're still dangerous in like numbers and whatnot. But anyways, so my expectations is, it's a Dead Rising game, probably gonna do good, maybe lesser, not that good in some areas. I don't know, I'm not so quite sure, but yeah, I'm gonna keep my hopes up for this game because I really want this to succeed. I wanted to see a comeback, like a true comeback for Frank West ever since his last appearance in Case West. So it's still fun to see him, even if his design is a little bit off. I love this character and I want to see him in action, and that's what I'm getting. So I'm just, I guess, gonna have to get used to this character model. Anyways, this was my thoughts and opinions about this new trailer and game. Now let me know what you guys think, and I will see you in my next podcast, video, whatever. So take care, everybody.